Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
These arrogant globalists thought they defeated humanity. But the truth is, whether it's Obama or George Soros, they're losers. Everything they had, everything they threw against us failed. Now, just because we defeated these tyrants for now, doesn't mean we've won the war. The war is happening within our hearts, within our souls, within our minds. We have to be good. We have to be pure. We have to be strong. We have to build prosperity. We have to bring everyone of every race, color, and creed together if we're going to truly defeat these tyrants who believed we were going to fail, who believed their divide and conquer would work. Yes, we've won the first phase, but the battle for the soul of humanity has just begun. But Obama and Hillary and Soros, you were losers from the day you were born.
It's also what happens when you listen to the radio host, Alex Jones.
Move, bitch! Get out the way!
We pledge allegiance to one flag, and that flag is the American flag.
Infowars helped fuel the rumor that President Obama is an ISIS supporter.
It's been a cozy relationship from the beginning. I will not let you down. You will be very, very impressed, I hope. And I think we'll be speaking a lot. Donald Trump and Alex Jones.
This means that Donald Trump will be the 45th president of the United States.
Waging war on corruption. It's
Alex Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 4:36 Central Time. I am doing a live teleprompter-free transmission directly to YouTube, Facebook, and Infowars.com. Last week, Megyn Kelly, who's launched her big NBC show, came down here to Austin to interview me, and they were here from 9:30 in the morning till almost 11 at night. And Megyn Kelly lied to me several weeks before she came here, and she said that the interview was not going to be about Sandy Hook and the mass shooting there, and it was not going to be about Pizzagate and these other issues that the media always obsesses on and misrepresents what I've said and what I've done. She said, oh, we might mention those, but it's really just a profile on you. And I said, no, it's not, because all MSM does is hammer on that continually. It doesn't affect my listeners. They know you're liars, but I'm not going to do it. Just today, I called The View and said I'm not going to go interview them in 2 weeks. They wanted me on as well. Bet on The View. It's boring. Bunch of zombies watch it. I don't need MSM. I don't need their, quote, validation or their attacks or any of it. They have zombies watching. So it'd be like giving a speech to a graveyard. It has no effect. But I decided to do the Megyn Kelly interview because I wanted to get the anatomy of a true psyop. And of course, I taped my conversations with her and I taped the interview she did so I could show, just like we've seen with other reporters, how they edit it. So I'm not going to say, watch out, you might have been taped, you were taped. And I'll let you know that too, because my crew did it. Now, that's the anatomy of propaganda. I wanted to go inside and see what she would actually do. She's a lawyer. It was a total cross-examination. She spent almost 2 hours on Sandy Hook and a few other issues And when I said that I believe children died there, when I said I believe children died at Sandy Hook, as I've said for years, she kept coming back with answers saying, you believe nobody died. You believe Anderson Cooper was involved. You believe that Robbie Parker was involved, on and on and on. I said, no. I said, my listeners questioned it. I had debates with both sides, and I played devil's advocate, saying maybe none of it happened or it was all fake, just like they lied about WMDs in Iraq and had all those fake sanctions that killed over 500,000 Iraqi children. But then I said the other side of me believes those parents I've seen on TV, and real mass shootings do happen, so it probably did happen. But why is Anderson Cooper on a green screen when he claims he's there? Off air, she's like, oh yeah, we fake locations all the time. That's known. It's not saying they were involved in it. So what they do is they clip and they misrepresent. Last year, I shot a video and I said my final statement on Sandy Hook. The video's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's on Infowars.com. And in there, I break down the fact that the public doesn't believe the media and what happened because the media has been caught lying so much and has a 6% approval rating. But that I tend to believe people did die there, that they were just using PR teams to go in to exacerbate it and hype it up to get the maximum effect to blame the American people and to blame gun owners for what happened. But they'll never put out my real statement. They will never show the full spectrum of it. They only take out of context because I have a wide form broadcast. And I told her, I said, listen, they use this out of context to be hurtful. I told her on the phone and in person to people that have lost children in real tragedies. And I said, if you want to bring up Sandy Hook, we're going to bring up the 500,000 dead Iraqis when the Clintons expanded the sanctions and that Madeleine Albright admitted killed 500,000 kids. We're going to play that clip in a moment. She said it on NBC and CBS. She said, oh, no, we're not going to really go there. It's a profile on you. And I said, bull. Every mainstream article is the same thing. I know there's a hit piece out on me to try to destroy independent media. I understand that. And then sure enough, they came here at 9:30. They did softball stuff until 9:30 at night, until almost 11. And it was cross-examination over and over again. And then I saw the 1 minute, 29-second promo piece they put out last night that created this national firestorm. And they did not have me in there saying that I believe children died at Sandy Hook. They had it edited where I sounded like I was saying nobody did, and the headlines are, I doubled down. And that's why I'm calling for the piece not to air next Sunday on Father's Day. I clicked this morning and I went, that's Father's Day. They want to sit there with fathers and families together, and they know I'm a father. The whole piece is about how I'm a father, and it all clicked. Make fathers look bad. Remember the Super Bowl 2 years ago and then again this year, how they had all the controversy over all the ads that demonized fathers and said that fathers were bad and fathers weren't good? Let's pull that up. Just search engine, Super Bowl ads demonize fatherhood. And it clicked. I went, oh my gosh, they want to drive a wedge with a guy that looks like a classic American father, but lit from the bottom like a Halloween, deal with light under my face. It looks scary. And then sit there and edit, because she kept saying, over and over again, things that I didn't say were out of context. And so I realized something was weird, how she was tying fatherhood and being a father and my children, and then kept bringing up Sandy Hook, and it all clicked today. It's Father's Day. So I agree with the victims, the families of Sandy Hook. And I agree with the big banks that have come out and said they're going to boycott if it's not being pulled. I agree. I didn't want to talk about Sandy Hook. They're going to edit it where I say Sandy Hook never happened, like they always do. And I don't want to be a part of MSM's fake media and their hoax. I do not want to be part of this, because I believe mass shootings happen. I believe they exacerbate it and they blame it on the general public when the general public has nothing to do with it. Our same liberal media calls for bringing Islamics into the country that bomb and shoot and attack. And she asked me about the Orlando nightclub attack and said, you think gays did it? And I said, what the hell are you saying? I said liberals who are open and bring in the Muslims are the target. I didn't blame the gays. And she said, you just did. And I went, no, I didn't, lawyer. I never did that. Who the hell would do that? So, see, they've got a problem. They're bringing in the radical Muslims that are killing the gays. What do they do that I'm exposing that? They just say that I blame them and then just ask me some Perry Mason question. And then she would just sit there out of the blue and say, oh, so you blame the children that got blown up in Manchester, huh? Without even asking a question. And it's all just zingers to cut in, just like Hillary did in the campaign ads in 2016 with me when I was having a debate on air saying the whole thing happened like they said it happened at Sandy Hook and the whole shooting was real. But then part of me says the whole thing's fake and staged because of X, Y, and Z. I can see why the public doesn't believe the media. I have a 4-hour show every day. It's teleprompter free, and they use that against me, and they cut it all together. And by the way, I'm not saying all of this because them hammering me on Sandy Hook or any of this is hurting us. We have more affiliates, more sponsors, more listeners. We're expanding. We're hiring tons of people. We're building a huge new studio. We're getting affiliates in D.C., Los Angeles, New York, London, Paris, Frankfurt. I mean, it's all being set up. We're exploding. We've got $500 million in venture capital that wants to fund us. I've never even taken a loan out. People know we're the zeitgeist. People really know we have 45 million listeners a week, exponentially growing. But I really want to have integrity. I really want to get up here and explain why our listeners questioned Sandy Hook day one. We looked at the anomalies and found that they were doing some staged media stuff there, but to make it really pull on heartstrings, the evidence points towards real people being killed. And I've been criticized roundly by the other side that thinks nobody died. And I told Megyn all of that. But then when she got in the interview with me, she didn't go there. And she continued to hammer down over and over again to misrepresent where we stand. And so I agree with the families of the victims of Sandy Hook. The Alex Jones profile interview with Megyn Kelly does not need to air. It needs to be shelved. And it needs to not be aired on Father's Day. It's just not appropriate. And it misrepresents what I said. And I told them that I had a final statement last year. And then if they wanted to see what I had to say, it was in that. And they said over the phone, we don't want to go there. We might just briefly ask you about it. And then she asked me 5, 6, 7 times and debated me and argued and said things I'd never said, looking at me to my face. And so they're going to misrepresent, and I don't want to be part of that. I wish they'd had armed teachers at Sandy Hook to protect the children. I wish that the Prozac head that reportedly did it, hadn't been allowed to get a gun illegally. I wish that at San Bernardino, when the FBI tried to bust the 2 Islamicists that had been traveling to the Middle East to train, that the FBI hadn't been blocked and threatened with prison time by the Justice Department for investigating them. I wish that in Manchester that the son of a known terrorist from Libya hadn't traveled back and forth to Libya to get the training and hadn't been protected. I'm so sad that liberal trendies, parents, supported in England, on average, about 50% of the public bringing in radical Muslims, and that they then attacked and killed them with a bomb and then with guns at the gay nightclub. And again, the media misrepresents what I say. I'll have a 20-minute video. They'll take 10 seconds out. And I'll say, why do the liberal trendies bring in people that bomb them? And they'll go, oh, you're saying the kids there were the liberal trendies. No, the culture. Why do you bring in people? Answer the question. How do you turn it around when you bring in the Islamicists that kill gays and cut women's genitals off and don't let them drive cars and put hoods over their head, that George Soros is financing liberal women everywhere wearing hijabs, and USA Today says the new liberal thing to do is to join Islam and wear a hijab? How do you people who bring this in to cause 80% loss of terrorism in France, 80% loss of tourism in France from terrorism, and all these plagues, how do you then do this and then turn around and then blame me for it? So that's what I'm here talking about, is communicating with my audience and my listeners about what really happened and really unfolded. So again, the top story in the United States today, you can go follow it on Twitter, on Facebook, anywhere, is Alex Jones, Megyn Kelly interview. And clearly, they've got PR firms Clearly, the minute this thing launched last night, they were rolling out saying, don't legitimize Alex Jones, don't let the hater on. What I'm saying is, don't let the edited fake Alex Jones with a light under his chin to make me look like a Halloween character. That Google Halloween lighting, flashlight under the head. I mean, that's what they did compared to her all lit up nice. Well, that just tells you how edited this is going to be. So listen, I agree with the people, and I want to tell the victims of Sandy Hook and their families, the PR, the media, the Bloomberg's been on record doing this and others. They are out there and they seize on this to demonize free press constantly and to hammer and to make it look like the left's a bunch of victims. And then in general, we're sitting here attacking children. You know the globalists funded the Arab Spring that killed hundreds of thousands of people, mainly children and women. You know they funded all these wars and all these lies. You know what Madeleine Albright talked about, 500,000 kids. So if you really care about the kids that died at Sandy Hook, talking about MSM and others, you should look at Madeleine Albright and the 500,000 dead kids and all the rest of it, because she's never apologized for what she said or did. I didn't blow the people up at Manchester. I criticized that they brought in radical Islamists and knew they were terrorists and let them do it. That's been confirmed. And I didn't criticize any kids that ever got killed or got hurt or their families. I simply said, I understand why my listeners don't believe mainstream media because they're such incredible liars and have a 6% trust rate in a major AP study. And because I give long answers, they edit it out and take it out of context. And I've learned, don't do devil's advocate on air. You know, it was Megyn Kelly, and I confronted her on the phone. Because I don't have a regular app on my phone to record people. I ought to download one. I have this phone, and she calls me up, and I call her back. And she sits there and says, oh, I really am obsessed with you. I really like you. And I said, that's a bunch of bull. You know, I went, boop, started recording it. 30-minute conversation. And I told her, I said, listen, I think people probably died at Sandy Hook, but I question a lying media that's been caught lying so much about WMDs in Iraq and everything else, so you can't blame people not trusting it. But I don't want to talk about this. I don't want you to, they're going to say, I'm bringing up Sandy Hook, and I want to hurt people's feelings, and I don't want to go there. I've already put out a statement where I say I think it probably did happen, but they were just using a bunch of fake media to hype it up, and that's where you find stuff that's fake. And she didn't want to hear that. She said, I'm not going there. And so I'm being misrepresented again and drug into something here by a mainstream media that wants to deceive people, and I'm not going to be part of it. Now, something else I don't want to be part of is the 500,000 kids when Bill Clinton tripled the sanctions, where they couldn't even ship in medicine or food to Iraq for the 8 years he was president, and 500,000 Iraqi children died, according to Lancet, the British medical journal. I understand the Newtown kids are very important. Let's talk about the 500,000. They're human too, okay? And I brought that up to Kelly. She made a big joke about it. I brought up human-animal hybrids that's in MIT, Associated Press, CNBC. We'll show you some of those in a little bit. She made a big joke out of that. That's a big joke in the media. Because they're not animal, they're not human, they have no rights. They're in the snowman's land. This is a big, big deal. They got stuff about robots having rights. But what about the chimeras? This is real stuff. But they think you're so stupid, they make jokes out of it. So I'm calling, in the interest of the families of Sandy Hook, I agree with them, that this piece not air, because it misrepresents what I stand for and what I've said, and uses me as a sock puppet or a straw man out of context with edited video, very deceptively, from what we've seen in the promo piece, to hurt people's feelings and to drive a wedge in this country. And that's not something I want. And so I apologize that I was part of this interview and just kind of halfway trusted that they wouldn't deceive. It was so much worse than I thought. And I just think NBC should shelve the interview. Not because I'm afraid of what's going to be in it to me, but because I don't want it to be used to further hurt folks. It will. I will get more audience. I will have more people tune in. There's no such thing as bad publicity, like P.T. Barnum said, but I'm not P.T. Barnum. And I really say the things I believe in. I stand for what I believe in. I'm not fake news. And I'm not in the news, you know, like New York Times on Saturday saying Comey never said that Trump didn't order him to stop the investigation, even though we played the clips today. The New York Times just said they don't exist. We're fake. You know, I've learned the MSM is so deceptive, I just can't do interviews with them anymore. I've got to just stand here on my own, tell you what I really said as a citizen, as a human, and let the chips fall where they may. But since I mentioned it, here's Madeleine Albright talking about the 500,000 dead kids.
We have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And you know, is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
Okay, so the price is worth it. And there's more clips. She also said it on NBC. So I guess the Newark mayor has now, tweeted he agrees with me that, he doesn't want someone who thinks 9/11 is an inside job. Well, Bill, when I said inside job, the media misrepresented that. I was talking to the FBI and other folks that were in the news at the time. I had some of the former FBI agents on. They were ordered to stand down on 9/11. And we now know from the 28 pages, Congressman Walter Jones and others, and Senator Graham, that there was an order to stand down. It was bipartisan. And so when I say inside job, our government at the highest levels, just like at the Manchester attack, that's mainstream news. Type it in. MI5, MI6 knew he was planning to bomb and knew his brother was planning to bomb the UN in London. That's Daily Mail. That's BBC. So when I say inside job, it means you knew and you let it happen. Just like San Bernardino and the mass shooting, the FBI was ordered to stand down. San Bernardino happened. The government ordered it to stand down, just like the former FBI director Mueller ordered them to take any references to radical Islam out. So I just said years ago that I probably think, it leans towards the Sandy Hook happening like they said. And over the years, I know mass shootings happen, so I've said I think it's real. You will never let me say that because you lie and you know what you're doing. So that's fine. But people watching us by the millions online, they know what I said years ago. They know what I said today. There's a London Independent right there. He wasn't a lone wolf. He was known wolf, and the Muslim community tried to warn us about him. That's London, and then it goes into it. But you can even search engine, British intelligence knew he traveled to Libya, knew he was planning to attack. That doesn't mean the whole thing was done by the government. But they're bringing the radical Muslims in. They're covering up for it. The mayor of New York has terrorists at their main events and their main parades. There it is, London Telegraph. Security services missed 5 opportunities to stop the Manchester bomber. There's even stronger headlines than that. But see, I'm informed. That's why I'm the bad guy. So let's go over this. Megyn Kelly defends decision to interview Alex Jones amid calls for show boycott. Hell, NBC gets enough weapons contracts and enough stuff. They don't need this. This is to reboot her failing career and to do it with a bunch of people in pain and division and editing what I've said, as she did in her promo piece, to make it look like I've doubled down on Sandy Hook when all I did was say what I've been saying since it happened. Hell, how many years was that? 4 or 5 years ago. Here it is. Alex Jones doubles down on Sandy Hook conspiracy theory in disgusting Megyn Kelly interview. Really? Did you see my disgusting interview? Did you see me? No, what you saw was edited crap. Luckily, I have these little juicies right here with all of it. That's why I was even doing the interview, so if they edited it, we could show it really happened. But now, no, because it won't matter. They're going to misrepresent what I said because I give you long-form answers, not sound bites. Megyn Kelly, NBC under fire over sickening Alex Jones interview. Huffington Post. Sickening. The interview hasn't aired. It's supposed to air in 6 days, but it's sickening. Well, you know what? Of course it's going to be sickening. It's edited. And then it goes on. Same headline, even from other media outlets. Even the same headlines. Some central group is writing this in some big PR deal, clearly just to hype the hell out of this, where it's the biggest thing ever on TV. But you're not going to have me supporting it. And you're not going to have me playing along with the edits. No. That's not going to be happening, my pretties. Then you've got this. Oh, I'll get you and your little CIA too, don't worry. JP Morgan Chase exec questions advertising with Megyn Kelly due to Alex Jones' interview. Why don't you go all the way, JP Morgan? You're such good people. Chelsea Clinton blasts Kelly for Alex Jones' interview. Oh, I love it. You're in the WikiLeaks. Let's pull them up. Chelsea Clinton admits they killed people in the WikiLeaks, stealing their water supply, stealing their money, stealing 97% of it. Massive sex trade, kidnapping the Haitians, type in AP, massive child kidnapping ring, UN run. All of this, her father on the Lolita Express child kidnapper plane. But she's going to criticize me for how I was mean and said fake things about her mommy, like the Secret Service told us that your mom was falling down every 45 minutes from seizures. Then 2 weeks later, we caught it on video. Oh, okay, I understand. We were there a year before the AP and exposed the child kidnapping rings with precision. So what'd you do? When we exposed Podestas and all their admissions in the WikiLeaks, you focused on a pizza place. And you got the media to focus. When there was code words for pizza, they picked a pizza place. They made it the coverage. We looked at it, said that's a false report, pulled it. Nobody else did. And they said, oh, you are discredited. You're running scared. You put out fake stuff against a pizza place when we're the ones that killed the story on it that we didn't create. But that's how they operate. Sandy Hook mom blasts Megyn Kelly for upcoming Alex Jones interview. Well, I just agree with this poor Sandy Hook mother. I agree with her, and I don't want to cause you any pain. I told them I didn't want to talk about Sandy Hook. I said that I thought Sandy Hook happened, and they'd edited my videos, and I didn't want to make that about it. And I said it on video, and then they put out a promo, and they didn't show that. So I apologize that I trusted Megyn Kelly, and I apologize to you for any pain I've caused. Just the government lied so much about WMDs and about other stuff they got caught in that my listeners question it. So we did see some anomalies, but I don't think you're a bad person. And I've seen parents that look very legitimate to me on TV, and I told Megyn that. And I don't know if that's in the piece, but she lied to me so much, I just have to agree with you that this needs to be pulled immediately. All right, folks. Well, and I saw stuff like this is why I question it. FBI says no one killed at Sandy Hook in the crime statistics. They just said it was an anomaly, and they tore down the building and sealed all the stuff and didn't call any rescue choppers, and porta potties already ordered the day before. There was an email from Mayor Bloomberg, at the time running the anti-gun group saying, get ready, something big tomorrow. We're going to launch operations. But that was all just a coincidence. Coincidence happen. And so, I know that the former deputy, White House chief, Emanuel said, never let a good crisis go to waste. So that's what I think. They just took a crisis, exacerbated it, hyped it, did some stuff. CNN always fakes location. Just because they fake location and Anderson Cooper, had a blue screen doesn't mean he was involved. And I told Kelly that. But again, I'm doing complex, long-form talk radio. So I'm looking at both sides. I have guests on I don't agree with. And I'm tired of being misrepresented. People ask me why I did the retraction on Pizzagate. Because I didn't create the story. The mainstream media did. I was covering real stuff. We broke Anthony Weiner and the sexting, and that he was connected to pedophilia and procuring kids. And I had law enforcement sources and, top folks. And so I said, yeah, I don't want to be associated with this. Before they ever attacked me, I came out and said, I think this is a distraction at this pizza place. And so then I came out and further distanced myself because I'm tired of being associated with it. But that doesn't make the media stop. When I say Sandy Hook was real and I've looked at it and had debates, they don't stop. They just keep attacking me and saying I didn't say it. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I thought I could tell Megyn that I thought Sandy Hook happened, but I explained why we saw anomalies and why we questioned. That's okay to question. And then she wouldn't show it in the promo piece. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do. They just keep lying about the wars and the WMDs and, Hillary being ahead in the polls and just lying and lying and lying and lying about the Trump recovery and lying and saying Comey didn't come out and say that Trump didn't try to influence his investigation. He did say that. So I don't know what to do when they lie so bad. I wanted Megyn to be truthful. I didn't want him to be like this. Let's play the minute and a half promo piece they did that made up my mind when I saw it last night and this morning when I realized it was Father's Day. Father's Day. Authoritarianism knows humanity's awakening, and it's moving against humanity on a planetary scale. The great global battle for the future of our species is being fought right now.
They call you the most paranoid man in America. Is that true?
Absolutely not. A paranoid person will be hiding out in their house, not venturing out in public. I go out there on the street and battle Black Lives Matter, the communists at point blank range.
We talked controversies and conspiracies. 9/11.
Now, 9/11 was an inside job, but when I say inside job, it means criminal elements in our government working with Saudi Arabia and others wanted to frame Iraq for it. Just a fact.
Sandy Hook.
Well, Sandy Hook's complex because I've had debates where we've devil's advocates said the whole story is true, and then I've had debates where I've said that none of it's true.
When you say parents faked their children's death, people get very angry.
Yeah, well, I know, but they don't get angry about the 500,000 dead Iraqis from the sanctions, or they don't get angry about all the illegals.
That's a dodge.
No, it's not a dodge. The media never covers all the evil wars it's promoted, all the big things.
That doesn't excuse what you did and said about Newtown. You know it.
Here's the difference. I looked at all the angles of Newtown, and I made my statements long before the media even picked up on it. We didn't get any of the really important stuff.
What do you mean? We talked about all the important stuff.
Well, here's the big one they always make fun of me. You probably want to throw this in there. 30 years ago, they began creating animal-human hybrids. Isn't that the big story Megyn Kelly should be doing? Now, notice that was edited because I said I made all my statements saying I believe Sandy Hook happened. At least children die. I think they added some stuff on in PR. They admit they do some of that. And then they attack me. It's like, I go, hey, I think this pizza place is a diversion. Oh my gosh, you said it's all fake, because they think that's weakness. Because, see, I have a conscience. I'm not like them. We didn't create the story. But see, they edited it. Now, we'll see what she does with the piece. Because I think this is all just PR with the media hyping it and playing on these poor families and contacting them for quotes. I don't think the families are involved. They'll say that now. I'm saying the media is involved. They're hyping it, playing it up. I mean, I think this is just PR to get the piece, even more ratings for a failing Megyn Kelly. So it may or it may not. But I mean, I don't look like what you just saw in that video. It's just an example of how they distorted everything, blew the video up, lit me from the bottom, low-key lighting. It's disgusting. I just know this. Why do you think they're attacking Infowars.com so much? Because they're all over the news saying kill Donald Trump with TV shows and movies and plays and actresses and actors in the New York Times, the Washington Post, and calling for civil insurrection and siding with radical Islam to beat people up nationwide yesterday, out protesting Sharia law that's totally incompatible in this country. And then a federal court rules, the second one against Trump, saying under religious freedom, we got to bring Muslims in, when Islam says we can't have religious freedom. It's citizens that have the right under the First Amendment, not foreigners to come here and conquer us. And this country is under crisis, and the globalists hate us. And they want to bankrupt us. And they want us poor. They want to run our lives. They want to enslave America. They admit it. That's what globalism is. It's authoritarianism. That's who the Nazi collaborator George Soros is. And they're demonizing Infowars because they know I really mean what I stand for. They're demonizing Infowars because they know you're listening and you're involved and you're sharing information with us, and we're having victories. That's why it's more important than ever in the face of the biggest story of the day, as they build up this Megyn Kelly interview, that you get involved in the narrative, in the fight, and say, of course we should question big events. That doesn't mean we hate anybody. And of course we should question known lying MSM. And we should ask ourselves, why is Infowars.com? Why is Alex Jones such under unmitigated attack? Because if we succeed in this free media open system paradigm, the globalists are going to fail. And they've thrown everything they can at us, and they haven't been able to defeat us. And they haven't been able to defeat Trump as $3 trillion pluses in the stock market, hundreds of billions in new jobs, the best job numbers since 1984. They don't know what to do because they have to make America fail. And they have to lie about everything and never stop. They want to break your will. Don't let them break your will. And also know that not just sponsorship, but we're supported directly by people like you. And if you believe like we believe we should live in a free country and stand for honor and stand against Sharia law and stand against people that throw gays off buildings and cut women's genitals off and do all this, and they're so mad at us that we're criticizing Islam because the left is allied with Islam, because it's 1.4 billion people, about to be 3 billion in the next 25 years. They're about to double. Christians are all not having babies or aborting their kids. If you believe in what we're doing, then spread Infowars.com and spread this video when we end it being live here in about 2 minutes. And go to InfoWarsStore.com. We've got the best supplements, the best water filtration, the best pro-America, pro-gun T-shirts to go out and meet like-minded people and have community, and the best freeze-drying systems, and the best books and videos, thousands of great items. A lot of them even beat out Amazon prices. At InfoWarsStore.com. Fluoride-free, made in America, organic toothpaste with iodine, colloidal silver, peppermint, and tea tree oil. 25% off BioSelenium, BioTrue Selenium, and X2, and Brain Force, and Knockout. all the great products and the Embrix Essentials, high-quality organic shampoo and sunscreen and bug spray and body wash and 10-to-1 mouthwash. This is one of the top national brands in the country, sold at Whole Foods. They let us private label it now. 20% off retail, 25% off with auto ship, 10% off general auto ship on other products. You can't beat support the transmission. Infowarsstore.com or 888-253-3139. And when you support us, you send shockwaves across the globe, and you let the New World Order know you are promoting freedom with your dollars, with your choices. You're voting with your dollars, and they hate that. It's why they hate free market, because even though we got just a little bit of free market left against the Bezoses and the Amazons of the world, that little bit of freedom can leverage them out anytime you decide to take action. So that all the independent people of the world, whether they be black, white, old, young, Amish, Mexican, whatever you are, let's come together against the globalists. We know they're a pack of liars. We know they're scum, and let's oppose them. And I could care less about that Megyn Kelly interview. I almost didn't do it. And since I saw all that deception and lies, I've decided I don't want it to air. Not because it hurts me, but because they misrepresented what it was going to be about, and I can just tell you, unless they promised to edit it different, we got a few days left, and, show what I really said about Newtown, that I think it happened. At least, they hyped some of it up, but I think it's reasonable to question it. But, we've looked at all sides of it, and they need to respect those families, don't they? And they need to stop lying about what I've said and what I stand for. All right, I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com. Nightly news coming up in an hour and 50 minutes. Infowars.com/show. Some cable and TV stations across the country, many radio stations pick it up as well. And Lord willing, the big show that's got them so scared will be back live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central, 12 noon Eastern, 11 in Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, 9 a.m. Pacific. To you, the listeners and viewers, and all the great crew, I love you, and I appreciate you. It's Americana to question. It's Americana to have free speech, and we're going to continue to promote it until the end. Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to secure your canister. We have worked for years with our chemists and scientists to create the most powerful and affordable, great-tasting multivitamin formula available. Vitamin Mineral Fusion Drink Mix at InfoWarsLife.com is loaded with a full month's supply of essential vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that your body absolutely needs. In the history of InfoWars Life, we've brought out a lot of amazing products like Survival Shield X2, Super Male Vitality, and so many others. With its unique delivery system and proprietary manufacturing process designed for... Ladies and gentlemen, let's kill this right now. Right as I enter this live transmission, teleprompter free, nobody's pulling my strings. Rob Dew ran in and said, we had the Chimera cross-human-animal piece ready. It's kind of like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. If you watch till the end of the credits, you never know what happens around here. But I don't want to make jokes about this because this issue is so serious. I learned when I was first on air 22 years ago in BBC articles and others, and I went into the deeper research files, that they have animal-human chimeras all over the world. In fact, we showed a CNBC and also a CBC article today that actually shows the part human, part pig embryos. Type that in, part human, part pig embryos, quote, promise organ harvesting. And scientists create animals that are part human, MSN and AP. But we showed one today that showed the part human, part pig embryo. And see, what they do is they kill them before they're born and harvest them. They also say because they're not animal and they're not human, they don't have any rights. So there's MIT, you name it. Now, they made a big joke out of it. They're making a joke out of this. This is a big, big deal. And this is an area that has really no coverage. So, and it's much more advanced than they're even telling. So again, that's it for this transmission. Great job to the crew. Coming up in 1 hour and about 47 minutes, we will have the live InfoWars nightly news. But human chimeras are real. It's a big issue. And it doesn't matter if they call me a conspiracy theory or say I hate the children or that I blew up Manchester. The truth is the chimeras are a huge issue. They're causing cross-species genetic flow, causing mutation in viruses, bacteria. It's a big crisis. I've talked to top genetic engineers. So one more thing we're right about. Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to secure your canister. We have worked for years with our chemists and scientists to create the most powerful and affordable, great-tasting multivitamin formula available. Vitamin Mineral Fusion Drink Mix at InfoWarsLife.com is loaded with a full month's supply of essential vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that your body absolutely needs. In the history of InfoWars Life, we've brought out a lot of amazing products like Survival Shield X2, Super Male Vitality, and so many others. With its unique delivery system and proprietary manufacturing process designed for maximized effects, this formula is the platinum standard of multivitamin mineral products. And this part is most important. The ingredients in Vitamin Mineral Fusion are either plant-derived or of the highest quality lab standard. That means it's clean. That means it's pure. And rest assured, you're fighting the tip of the spear in the info war. That's InfoWarsLife.com and Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Take action now before we sell out.